Okay, let's get started. My office hour is 3 to 5 p.m. each Monday. Office is 219, just level 2 upstairs. If you need to see me and other times, just send me an email to make an appointment. Okay, a little bit about your study. You probably want to enroll if you are doing anything in economics, or you have minor in economics. You definitely want to do some subjects in forecasting or econometrics, and you might want to do some advanced levels, because particularly if you are geared towards research. If you are thinking about a research career in the future, this is going to be very, very handy in the future. Okay, let's look at a concept definition of managerial economics. It's the use of economic analysis to make business decisions involving the best use of best use means allocation of an organization's scarce resources. Two important points here. First one, resources are scarce. We don't have unlimited one. Right? For example, time, anybody only at most have 24 hours in a day. You can't do whatever you want. So resources are scarce. So since resources are scarce, we are faced with different trade-offs. We need to make any decision that involves trade-off. If you come to this class, you cannot watch movie at home. You cannot go shopping. That's because resources are scarce. So now we want to make best use. Well, we want to make use of these scarce resources optimally, in the best way. Okay, now you need to ask, what is best way? What do we mean by best? If we are saying we want to use something in the best way, we need to have a criteria, a yardstick in hand, right? So we can just say it is best use. Later on, we are going to see that we are going to assume that to run a business, we are going to assume that the objective of a firm is to maximize its profit, and this is the way. This is the yardstick that we can say we are making best use of the resources because we use them to maximize our profit. Okay, so that's what we mean by managerial economics. So when you're running a firm, you definitely want to answer such questions as what are the economic conditions in a particular market? For example, if you are banana farmers, right? You want to understand what's happening in the banana market, that's for sure. What is the market structure? You probably can, at this moment, you may feel some point here may be new to you, but it doesn't matter. We're going to come back to this later on, more on this. Market structure, whether the market is competitive or monopolistic, competitive or oligopoly. Supply and demand condition, technology, government regulations, and if you are exporting your product, you definitely need to look at the international dimensions, so on and so forth. So you want to be sure that should your firm be in the business or not. If so, if you decide to remain in the business, what price you should charge for your output and how many units output you should produce. And definitely you want to maintain an advantage over your competitors, and how to do that, etc. So you can either be cost leader, which means that you are going to cut your cost as much as you can, as cost efficient as much as you can, or you can differentiate your product. You're going to claim that your product is different from other people. My product is different from yours because my product is better designed, has better looking. You can differentiate in a lot of dimensions. Or you are going to say, my business is only going to serve GSU students. So I'm just focus on a small part of the market, right, customer. Okay, you need to be aware about risks. Demand and supply can changes in the market, technology can changes, competition, exchange rate, interest rate, political environment. Okay, one question for you. Well, we say that you need to be aware about changes in exchange rate. Why? In what situation you got to be very careful about exchange rate change? Under what situation you need to be very careful about the exchange rate changes. If your business are selling to overseas,
if you're exporting or importing.
Exactly. Remember, suppose you are exporting, say, bananas to US, and this banana is your export price is denoted in US dollar, but your business is in Australia. You care about the Australian dollars denoted revenue, so you need to exchange US dollar for Australian dollar. So now if the exchange rate change, that means your Australian dollar revenue will change, right? So in these cases, if you are exporting or importing, then you are subject to the exchange rate risks. Okay. So economics of a business refers to the key factors that affect the ability of a firm to earn an acceptable rate of return on its owner's investment. You can think that your business is kind of investment. You invest in something. So definitely, by investing in a project, you are hoping that you can earn a rate of return. For example, your calculation says that your investment is going to earn you, say, 10% rate of return. So is this good or bad? Good or bad?
10% return on investment.
Yeah.
So you're losing 90% of your money.
Sorry, say again, please.
So you've lost 90% of your capital, or you've
No,
made
no, no.
10% on top of?
10%. When we say that your investment earn a 10% rate of return is on top of your principal, you can say.
Okay.
Yeah, on top of that principal. So the question for you is this 10% good or bad?
Currently, probably good compared to the cash rate.
Yes, good point. Very good point. You can't say that 10% is whether good or bad. Depends on your cost as well, right? Depends on your cost as well. If yes.
Are you using your money or the bank's?
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because if you are using your money, there's opportunity cost. I'm going to talk about opportunity cost later. Yeah. Okay. If you are earning 10% rate of return here, but your cost of your money is 15%, clearly that's not good deal, right? If your cost is 5%, you're earning 10%, that's a good deal. So it depends. Okay. You need to look at cost size as well. Okay. So before I move on, let me have a quick review of some economic terms. Economics, they are broadly divided into two branches, microeconomics and the macroeconomics. And can you see the screen? Oh, sorry, I'm going to put it this way. Okay, microeconomics is the study of individual consumers and producers and specific markets, individual consumers, individual producers. We look at this, for example, supply and demand of mobile phones, what equivalent price of the banana should be in the market, production process, what's the cost structure of a firm, and how the product is distributed to the market. On the other side, macroeconomics is a study of aggregate economy. We look at the economy as a whole. economy as a whole. So now we care about the GDP. How many aggregate products, how many aggregate goods and services that the economy can produce. What is the unemployment rate? How many people who want to find a job but couldn't find a job? Inflation, fiscal policy, monetary policy, these sort of issues. And managerial economics is belongs to the fields of microeconomics. We care about firms, individual firms. Okay. As I said before, a very important thing here is scarcity. We don't have unlimited resources. So that's why we need to make decisions involving all sorts of trade-offs. So we need to decide to produce what, whether it's pizza, or whether it's hair cutting service, or whether it's yacht, a luxury yacht. So we need to decide what to produce and how and for whom. Who is our customer? Okay, key issue here is how to best allocate resources. These resources include land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. And here is the opportunity cost. When we are doing so, we need to consider opportunity cost. What is opportunity cost? I believe in your B133, we already talked about opportunity cost. How many of you can still remember what is opportunity cost? Before you answer the question, let me give you an example. Say, you come to class, right? And suddenly you have value of coming to this class. Suppose, say, you value this as $100. Because your time is scarce, it's limited. You don't have unlimited time. If you come into class, you cannot do something else. Right? You cannot watch a movie at home. You cannot go shopping. Okay, you have many options. Suppose this you only have the other two options. So you can either watch a movie at home, and all shopping. And again, let me suppose that now you value movie at $120 and value shopping at $80. Okay, that's a simple example. Okay, now the question, I'm going to ask you a question. If you have any, do you have any question for me? If you don't have any question, it's fair for me to ask you a question, right? Okay, any question for me? All right, no, good. So the question for you is that, conditions that you already come to class. So is this reasonable? Are all these numbers reasonable? Are they reasonable?
It's pretty expensive for a movie, but other than that.
I don't know, okay. Yeah, you get some point here. Because I already come to class. So that must mean that I value coming to class more than watching movie at home and go shopping, right? Because I'm a rational person, right? I'm not insane, right? So now you cannot value watching movie at $120 because that's going to be more than your coming to class. So this number must be lower than $100. Let's say $70. Then that would make this example reasonable. I can't say this is more than 100 because you already come to class, right? So you must value coming to class higher than the other two options because you are rational, people are rational. Okay, then what is the opportunity cost of attending class? Opportunity cost is the value of second-best alternative. So what's the opportunity cost of coming to class?
80.
Must be 80, right? Must be 80. It is not $70. It must be this. Opportunity cost is the value of second best. It's not a base, first base, because first base is a class, attending class, you're already here. Alternative. Okay, that's what we mean by opportunity cost. So in deciding base use of base allocation of resources, we need to consider opportunity cost. So now suppose you are investing in a project, and now the money you invest is out of your pocket. Then what's the cost of this? You need to consider opportunity cost of your money in your pocket. Because otherwise, if you are not investing in this project, you can deposit it back, get the interest payment. So there's an opportunity cost. Okay, that's important thing. We need to consider opportunity cost. Okay, as I said before, to decide in what way is the best use of resources, we need to have a yardstick in hand. Then that is the objective of firms. We normally presume that the objective of a firm is to maximize profit. And the problem is to work out how to do that, subject to many real-world constraints. So again, because of resources are scarce, so we need to subject to some constraints. Okay. Okay, let's look at the firm. What do we mean by firm? We said we are running a firm. The firm's objective is to maximize profit. And what is a firm? Here, a firm definition, by definition, we define it as a collection of resources that is transformed into products demanded by consumers. We are not in the management area. In management, you probably want to say how to manage your firm, how to do the daily life administration, so on and so forth. But here, for our purpose, we view a firm as a kind of black box that takes in some inputs and spit out some outputs for the market. Okay. So now, firms, if you are running a firm, you need to compare the cost of organizing different activities. Whether you do it by yourself, you produce everything by yourself within the organization or external. So, so as said, we are going to assume firm is to maximize profit, but you should be aware that other goals are possible. For example, you may want to maximize your market share. Okay, these objectives, they can affect your profit. Pi here is profit. Pi, usually we use pi to denote profit. Okay, or profit margin, return on investment. You could have non-economic objectives. For example, you can maximize workplace environment, product quality, or you can maximize your service to the community. And this is a particular case for non-profit organizations. We have non-profit organizations. But throughout the whole subject, we are going to assume profit maximization. What is profit? Profit is just the difference between revenue and cost, right? Revenue and cost. Profit pi is the difference between total revenue and total cost. Here we need to distinguish. How many of you have done accounting before? One. Okay, quite a few. But here I want to emphasize that cost. In economics, when we account for cost, it's different, a little bit different from the accounting perspective, because we include the opportunity costs. So accounting costs, they are based on historical costs, while in contrast, economic costs are based on replacement costs and also include opportunity costs. Let me give you an example. Say, okay. So you're running a pizza shop, and each day you hire, say, 7 workers. You have 7 persons working in your shop. You pay them, say, $100 per day. So now the salary you're gonna pay the total salary you're gonna pay them is 700, right? 700. So total salary is equal to 700. In addition, you yourself also work in the shop, managing the shop. Okay, so yourself. And clearly you don't pay yourself. So now if it is accounting, the accounting cost, if we are thinking from accounting perspective, the cost of running this pizza shop is just $700. But economics, we got to account the opportunity cost of yourself working in the shop. Because otherwise, you can work, say, in a supermarket. Working in a supermarket, you can earn $300 per day. So now the economic cost, I'm using economic cost, you got to add it up. So it's $1,000. $1,000. Okay. So we need to account for the opportunity cost. All right. And usually your cost, your economic profit will be 0, and we call it normal profit. It could be, if your economic profit is positive. If your economic profit is positive, then we call it super normal, or negative. That means you are making economic loss. Okay. Any questions so far? All good? So is it? No, too early for break. Let me do some revision first. Supply and demand. It's a very powerful framework that we have that you can use to think about the reality, supply and demand. I need something. What? So we have picture like this. On the horizontal axis, we usually put quantity on the horizontal one, put price on the vertical one. When we are drawing a picture like this, the horizontal axis and vertical axis. When we put something on the vertical one, we usually means that this one depends on this one. Okay, this price depends on quantity, but not in here. Okay. Usually, when we put something, any variables, any things on the vertical axis, and the other things on the horizontal one, implicitly, we mean that this one depends on this one, but not in our cases here. Well, perhaps the first guy who invented this picture, he just happened to put the price on here. Okay, and everybody just followed. It just became a convention. Okay. So all of you have done a B1003. So I'll assume that all familiar with the curve. Okay, so we have, and this let me to be more specific. This is a market of banana. Market of banana. So we have demand for banana, right? So demand for banana will be like this, as demand for banana, right? Demand for banana. Am I right? No. Yeah. No. Demand is not upward sloping. If it is upward sloping, what does it say? It's supply. If it's upward sloping, basically it says that the higher the prices, the more demand is going to be. That clearly doesn't make sense, right? Okay, so it will be downward sloping. Downward sloping demand curve. Downward sloping demand curve, we call it, we have a name for it. What is it? Law of demand. We call it law of demand. Higher prices, less demand, which makes sense, quite intuitive. Okay. Also, this demand curve actually tells people marginal willingness to pay. People's maximum marginal willingness to pay. For the first unit, first kilogram banana, then consumer are willing to pay for this unit of banana at this point. Second unit, because you already have 1 unit of banana in hand, so your willingness to pay for the second unit will be higher or lower? Lower, because you already have 1. If you are thinking let's say this is a beer. You already drink 1 bottle of beer. The second beer, your willingness to pay for the second unit of beer is lower. Third unit, again, still lower, so on and so forth. And that's why it's downward sloping, and it tells you consumers' willingness to pay for the goods. Okay. So that's demand curve. Supply curve. We have supply curve. Supply curve is upward sloping. And this supply curve, well, this also makes sense, right? This also makes sense. Supply curve, upward sloping, basically says that the higher the price, the more firms are going to supply to the market, which makes sense intuitively, right? And why this should be the case? And later on we're going to show you. We can derive this from firms' profit maximization behavior. Okay. So that's supply curve upward sloping, and also this supply curve tells us information about what's the actual cost, marginal cost to produce next unit of extra cost to produce next unit of output. For the first unit, firm's cost of producing this unit, the first unit is this many. Second unit is this many, increase. Third unit, increase. Okay, so actually this supply curve is just firm's marginal cost curve above the shutdown point. Later on we are going to talk more about it. Firm's marginal cost curve above shutdown point. This is the sum of firms' marginal cost. How many of you know marginal cost? The concept of marginal cost. Yeah, well, take it as given. We're going to talk about this when we're talking. Marginal cost above shutdown point. Okay. So actual cost. First unit, the actual cost, the marginal cost. You can think it's an actual. If you are not comfortable with marginal cost, you can think the actual cost of producing actual unit output. That's exactly the same. Okay. So the actual cost of producing the first unit output is this many. Then the actual cost of producing second unit output is this many, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. So that's the information this supply curve can tell us. Okay. Then we have market equilibrium. So in this market, where is the equilibrium? The intersection point, right? this point, this is equivalent. We call it equivalent. And there's associate price. We call it equivalent price, equivalent quantity. Equivalent price, equivalent. So that's banana market. It says that an equivalent, the banana price should be this many. The equivalent quantity